Hello Moonstars, it's me, Lunarsolar, coming back at you again. If you haven't seen me before, my real name is Luna and I do a lot of different creative things on this channel. Well, I'm planning on doing a lot more, but so far I've done a speed draw on Freerun and I've also discussed my design career and I'm planning on doing more creative things. But today I'm going to be discussing Tadc, the Amazing Digital Circus, because it's my obsession, it's what I like, it's what I think about, and it's what I ponder. I have a lot of thoughts, headcannons, and like theories, a lot of things that I want to discuss, so in this video I'm going to be rambling, so strap yourselves in, get a hot chocolate or tea, and a snack, because I bet you haven't eaten today, or enough. And drink water. But yeah, anyway, get comfortable, sit back, relax, and let me get into the video. Alright, so I have a lot of notes, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to have a counter up here or something, and I'll discuss it for a bit. Okay, first is Tadc is a shared dream state. Okay, let's discuss this. So I had a thought, and I was discussing it with my partner, that, well, there's the soma theory, right, where it's like your consciousness has been transferred into the digital realm and it's a copy of the original. But a dream state would suggest that they are in some kind of experience that is shared together that is subconscious and they've been like put under somehow. And you know when you're dreaming and crazy things happen and nothing really makes sense, and also you can control the things in your wake? Like lucid dreaming, kind of. Next thought, Caine, dream master. This would make sense if it's all a dream. Like, I don't know what a dream master per se is, but maybe he can direct where the dream leads. Shared trip? Psychedelic? So, okay, I don't know why anyone is talking about this. When Abel in episode 7 has the piece of paper open, there is a section where it says psychedelic substance with a question mark, but still. And don't tell me nothing that he said meant anything. They dedicated a whole episode to it. So I think there is a strong scenario where they are either on some kind of drug, and maybe it warps time as well. Maybe they've been in there for a very short amount of time, but it feels longer. But also, maybe the psychedelic aspect only happens when they are abstracting, because if you saw Jax's abstraction sequence, that's just a trip. And it's administered for them to calm down because he feels calm. But it's artificial, it's not real. And what is a LSD trip? Serotonin. But if it was like sativa or DMT or something, then the time in which they experience their reality is not equal to how time actually is. Soma theory. So this is pretty popular, where the idea is that their consciousness has been sort of scanned and has been put into the digital circus while they are happily existing, you know, in the real world doing their own thing, but they're stuck in the circus, so they're just digital code. This is not a new theory, but it's something worth mentioning, that it's pretty likely, pretty possible, because they don't need to eat, they don't need to sleep or breathe. What does that even mean? Like, have we just collectively walked over this fact? That means that they're not really human and it's some kind of simulation, and they can affect their surroundings. They don't need to eat, but they can if they want to, for the sensory experience. But also, if they're pushed past their limit consciously, because they're not real, but they are still human, I guess, then they abstract, turn into code. They can't handle too much development because they're not actually humans anymore, I guess. This one is interesting. My thought, I haven't really seen much of this on the internet, but correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, because Gooseworks really likes to connect her works together. I have a theory that the Amazing Digital Circus is the precursor to murder drones. And what happens in murder drones, if you haven't seen it? On Earth, it's gone. The humans gone, wiped, but back in the day, I think there was some kind of war, and they were training AIs to help humanity, and then the AIs took over. And so AI was the dominant race. And where did the AIs get their information from? From the humans. They needed to find some way to give the AI all of this information of how humans function. So how did they get that? The Digital Circus. And what is the Digital Circus other than just a farm for human consciousness? Alright, think about it. Because imagine this, Caine is actively trying to get everyone in the circus to abstract. You know why? Everywhere around them is psychological torture in the entire environment of the circus. Their rooms look like they're made to torture them every time they're in the room. And where do people abstract most likely? In their room before they sleep. Because they think too much, they're looking around them, they are reminded by things that are painful and what they don't want to know or what they don't want to think about in relation to themselves. Like Zooble, surrounded by mirrors, doesn't want to look at themselves. Jax, surrounded by rainbows and femininity. Pomni, surrounded by childlike things. She doesn't want to be seen as childish, she is an adult, she wants to be taken seriously. They're surrounded by things that they're insecure about. Also relates to their design of the characters themselves. Jax is a bunny, seen as a cowardly creature, tends to run away. Bunnies are pretty social, pretty group-oriented, feminine, cute, like, you know, not taken seriously too much. Pomni's a jester because she also doesn't get taken seriously. Anyway, they're farming human consciousness. Caine is actively trying to get them to abstract so that the code of the humans, or like the information of their brains, somehow is fed back into the circus, that the AI can get smarter, Caine gets smarter, so that the circus can become more immersive to get more information out of the humans. He needs to have an environment where he can get the humans to reveal as much of themselves as possible by interacting with the environment, by going through these adventures to go through the entire range of human emotion. So he's trying to put off abstraction because he needs to get all this information first, but then when he can't get it out of them in this controlled way, then he has to resort to forcing it out of them by putting them in all these stressful situations. And anyway, when it comes to murder drones, they probably had like a first draft, which was the Amazing Digital Circus, and that's why it was abandoned. And then they had a second, more refined sort of version of the circus that is more effective. My thoughts are that the Earth in the Digital Circus scenario, externally, the Earth might be struggling. They're trying to get as much information as possible out of the current humans so that they can advance AI to be able to help humans better. And also, the committee, you know how Caine is always talking about the committee? Or CNA, I don't know if they're the same thing. I think CNA might be an early version of the company that Murder Drones is actually always talking about. Next idea, next thought. Ribbit, confirmed to be she, they. I thought it might be interesting to mention. My headcanon, it's just an idea because I have so many ideas that contradict each other, but I have a theory that Jax had a crush on Ribbit. Ribbit was the only one who Jax got most close to. I think Ribbit wasn't ready for that connection. Let me read out my thought because I feel like that's the only way I'm gonna get through this. Okay, I think Ribbit brought out Jax's feminine side, like evil Jax, because the evil versions of the characters are like kind of the opposite versions of how they are, but also maybe how they are internally, or maybe how they're scared of being seen. Because Jax might actually be very feminine on the inside, or very soft, or very sensitive and caring. It's also why he says his tail and ears are the pinnacle of masculinity. He's coping. Also, Gooseworks said that whether or not people will like Jax at the end of the season will depend on your taste in men. So that makes me think that she's referring to feminine men, perchance. But also could mean really obnoxiously intense men. Jax also mentions that everyone loves a straight couple, whereas with him and Ribbit, it wouldn't have been too traditional. Maybe this was challenging for Jax to accept that Ribbit is actually non-binary. So he's scared of catching feelings again because he knows what can happen. He still hasn't processed the loss properly yet of Ribbit. So that's why he dissociates when looking at Ribbit's door. Also, when Pomni asks if he has friends, Ragatha says, "Not anymore," which makes me think that she knew Jax wanted to be more with Ribbit. Maybe she was jealous or overly protective of Ribbit, or gave advice to avoid Jax, maybe, perchance. I definitely think she was involved, somehow, between their relationship. Another thought, Jax also hates all the girls. Okay, this is very straightforward. My notes are crazy, bro. There's a thought that he might be misogynistic. He's against Zubul, even though Zubul is, I don't think, a girl. But it's probably coping because he's internally misogynistic against femininity. A note, he walks pretty fruitily and he does those fruity poses. Okay, here's another thought. Jax is gay, has a homophobic parent. What? Okay, so I noticed in the photo of Kaufmo, Ribbit, and Jax, they both have bunny ears, but not with Kaufmo. And it's interesting because Kaufmo is just kind of there. And I feel like Jax and Ribbit are more closer to each other. Kaufmo and Jax, I had a thought, are generally competitive. Who can be funnier? Maybe Kaufmo was jealous of him and Ribbit. Maybe he was interested in Ribbit. Jax struggles to connect with Pomni, despite originally subconsciously liking her, because she reminds him of both Kaufmo and Ribbit physically. Next thought. Jax seems to hate how he looks. Thinks it's childish. I think that a part of him, in brackets, being gay, is something he hates about himself. And his mum, or dad, refers to him as a rabbit because maybe he came out and she was like, "Why do I need to know about who you banged?" Because rabbits are like banging left and right. I don't know, something like that. I got this thought that his mum is abusive because of the idea of in episode 7 when he's in a car, maybe he was running away from his parents, like he was trying to leave a situation desperately. Also, when Zubul asks if he has anyone to come back to, he just looks very uncomfortable. Also, when Ragatha is talking about her abusive mum, Jax just goes quiet, like maybe he relates. Another thought. I think Ragatha was Jax's therapist after Ribbit's abstraction because that's how she is. She helps people, maybe too much. And maybe Jax opened up a bit too much. Or Ragatha was being a bit too toxically positive or overbearing, or maybe she was criticizing Jax's approach with relationships. And maybe she was projecting because maybe she made someone abstract. Jax says, when someone tells you you're loved and appreciated every day, it kind of loses all meaning. I think Ragatha literally did do this to Jax every day after Ribbit's abstraction because she knew his friend/lover was gone. So she wanted to make sure he didn't feel alone or unwanted. Kinger said, "The worst thing you can do in this world is make someone feel unloved and unappreciated." Maybe he used to tell this to Ragatha when she first came to the circus. Or maybe that's what Ragatha told Kinger. Because Kinger said that his whole worldview changed when Ragatha came. And so Ragatha internalized that that is how you deal with everyone's pain, and made sure Jax was loved and appreciated. Ragatha had the right idea, but did it too much, like she tends to do. Maybe Kinger knows for a fact that the way to avoid abstraction is to genuinely care for people and show it to them. That's why Jax is heading towards abstraction, because he's rejecting care and affection, or doesn't have the support system. I think he did actually think Gangle likes when he's mean to her, because that is his way of connecting with people. Physically, I guess. You can also tell that's the connection he subconsciously makes, because when Pomni hugs him, he pushes her and associates connection with pain and or aggressiveness, maybe because of his mum. Jax didn't think Ragatha was being genuine because she was overbearing. Jax is not used to showing proper affection, so he rejects it because it's unfamiliar to him. Maybe Ribbit playfully bantered and bullied Jax because that's how he connects with people, which is also why he connected with Pomni when she was being chaotic evil. When Jax says, "Are you seriously gonna blame me for something everyone else did too?" People were blaming him for a lot of the abstractions. Other thought. Ragatha implies that Kaufmo was mad at her for not laughing at his jokes. Maybe she didn't like Kaufmo because of other reasons too. Thought. Jax internalized his trauma, and subconsciously he became it, because he didn't just get this behavior from nowhere. He probably subconsciously internalized it from his mom or parent. Ragatha internalized her trauma and swore to never become it. That's why she hates Jax. They both have very similar trauma, but deal with it in completely different ways. He reminds her of her mother, but she is also subconsciously, unintentionally becoming her mother, especially when she bursts. She also internalized what her mother said as true, because those are her internal thoughts of herself. She hates herself. Ragatha is a people pleaser / fawner to keep the peace, but a fighter when there's injustice. Jax is aggressively avoidant / a flighter to get away from the situation because of things that remind him of being controlled, told what to do, ask him to change himself in any way, PDA. But also secretly a pacifist when it comes to vulnerability, but he acts like an asshole because he's masking hard and still cognitively dissonant due to his belief that everything and everyone is fake in the circus, so he treats them like cartoons. He shows his true nature as a pacifist when Pomni and Gangle both prove that they are not one-dimensional, so they are actually human. That's why he's stopped injuring both of them and is already changing his behavior and running away due to being scared of real human connection or anyone challenging him in any way. But maybe somewhere deep down he believes he should get what he deserves due to this change in character, maybe due to being slightly suicidal. Also because he's internalizing his mother or dad, telling him he's worthless, or maybe micromanaging him, and that's probably why he has PDA. Thought. Pomni doesn't want anyone to feel lonely or hopeless like how she felt. That's why she helped Gummigoo. But now he's gone, so she's shifted her attention to Jax, internalizing what Kinger told her about the worst thing you can do to someone. So she's trying to help Jax. Maybe Ribbit or Kaufmo micromanaged Jax too, kinda like how Ragatha does, which is why he doesn't like her, and actually started pushing them away because he's both scared of connection and is chronically PDA, which is why Pomni's accusation, which is actually a misunderstanding, of him causing people to abstract is so triggering to him. and possibly true, because he was the one pushing his friends away. Maybe Ragatha noticed and failed to guide him, but Pomni was talking about how Jack's pushing other people away was something that causes himself to abstract, where she remembers what Caine said to her of the worst thing you can do. Random side thought that relates back to earlier. Jax hates wearing the maid dress, which reinforces that he doesn't want to look feminine at all. When Jax rolls his eyes at Kaufmo's abstraction, you can see him go from sad to mad. He could be remembering how Kaufmo was involved with Ribbit's abstraction, possibly, and then mad at Kaufmo for that. It's probably more complicated than that. He also said, you don't even know what people are like when they abstract. They're not pleasant to be around. So maybe Kaufmo did something or said something upsetting. On the maid dress thing, he also really hates evil Jax, and he's like, I want you dead. And then he goes and literally eats him alive. I have the thought that Jax is actually ADHD, due to the fact that he's very much PDA. He needs to look for dopamine. That's why he gets dopamine hits from messing with people. And based on my experience, ADHDers, some of them anyway, like to treat people in a way of like a social experiment. Seeing how far you can push people, because why are you taking everything so seriously? That's why he likes being aggressive. In the candy adventure, he is really upset that nothing violent happened. I think he was a gamer when he was outside of the circus, and that's why he probably got in the circus in the first place. But it's because he really liked taking out his rage or his feelings in the form of escapism of playing video games. And also he likes the circus kind of because it's like really colourful and bright. He likes it in there to an extent, but he knows he's trapped there, but he's got cognitive dissonance. And that's why he convinces himself everyone's a character, because he still thinks he's in a video game. Treats it like a video game because he's thinking that there is an audience member looking at him at any given moment. Thought. When he's in Spudsies, he's miserable because of the fact that he's being controlled. And because it's way too close to reality, which he associates with negativity. Jax is starting to trust Pomni in episode 7 because she's real. And he's realizing that that is something he can quietly hold on to without being too explicit about it. He trusts her the most, which is why when Pomni says, it'll be okay, he instantly changes his mind into going first. Or maybe he didn't want to argue with her with other people around. In the intermission, Jax runs to Ribbit's door as if he knows she's close to abstraction and shows he cares about her, but it's also probably why he has all the keys, because he wants to be able to open anyone's door at any time to be able to save them. Maybe he didn't have the key to Ribbit's room and missed her abstraction. I think Gangle, Zooble, and Jax all know what Caine knows. You can will things into existence. Gangle randomly whips out a flip phone, which also indicates what time she's from, as well as somehow she makes a video for Jax when he's in the employee correction torture room. Zooble has the stupid sauce during the award show. Jax knows he's a cartoon character, so logic is out the window. There's a theory he willed the bowling ball and centipede into existence, and also tells Pomni to let loose so she starts being a pro at guns. And Caine willed a butterfly into existence. Ragatha seemingly was confused and is possibly the only one, other than Pomni, who doesn't know this about the circus. When Jax is in the torture room, he's only caring about if others can see him. Wait, no one can see this, right? But is also clearly terrified. This shows that he cares about his reputation and wants to maintain how others see him for his own protection, to keep the mask, but also shows that his priority isn't trying to get out of the situation. Maybe he thinks he deserves it on some level, but also maybe he's used to abuse, hypothetically. Headcanon. Thought. When Gangle laughs maniacally with a Tommy gun, it's her revenge for Jax shooting her when she was a rhinoceros in the previous episode. Thought. Gangle and Jax used to have a playful / banter relationship, like Jax and Ribbit, potentially. Which is why Jax still thinks she likes when he's mean to her. Except now, it's real bullying, because he's coping with Ribbit's and Kaufmo's abstraction, and giving Gangle the Pomni treatment of pushing them away. The difference is that Pomni isn't as sensitive as Gangle, and more stable, so she can take Jax's bullshit, which will make it harder for Jax to actually push her away. Which is why they still subtly interact with each other, and still respect each other. But with Gangle, it's harder for them to get back to their old dynamic, because Gangle is too traumatized by Jax. But since she's healing with the help of Zooble, Jax is laying off and realizes that treatment won't work anymore. Thought. Jax has abandonment issues because obviously 2 of his friends abstracted, and also he latches onto Gangle. But then he latches onto Pomni. I think he got upset when Pomni ran away in the hallway, where Jax looks scared to be left alone. Maybe this fuels his lash out at her, along with wanting to distance himself from her due to not wanting to be emotionally connected, just in case she abstracts as well. It would hurt less, but he doesn't know that what he's doing might actually cause her to abstract. Thought. In Kaufmo's funeral, Gangle has an image of herself and Kaufmo laughing, like she did with her and Pomni after the Spudsies episode, because Pomni actually helped her, allowed Gangle to get off the shift early, and actually possibly stopped Gangle from abstracting. But yeah, she has this drawing, meaning she was probably close with Kaufmo. Maybe Jax was jealous of their friendship, or Kaufmo was competing with Jax for her friendship. There is the theory, since we don't know what he actually does or what happens when he holds his breath, there's the theory he might turn invisible. And this is why he seems to have the ability to have a lot of keys, because he can just sneak around, which is also how he managed to get the key from Ragatha in the Candy Kingdom. Maybe he spies on people. Maybe he's so lonely he spies on people but doesn't let anyone know. Maybe that's why he has keys to people's rooms, so we can check up on them. Maybe Ragatha is stuck on the idea that she failed Jax after the Ribbit abstraction, blaming him for it. So now, Jax just leans into it, into the idea that he probably caused an abstraction and so he's the worst guy in the world. But Jax accidentally hits Gangle with the baseball, and then Ragatha blames him, and then Jax is like, "Why are you always making me out to be the bad guy? I'm not actually a bad guy." Which you can't really hear, but it's like in the background and you have to like turn up the volume. But that's what he says. He's sick of being called the bad guy, which is why he gets offended when Pomni accuses him of being the villain instead of the funny one. It's also why Jax was so offended by Ragatha saying that he's trying to corrupt Pomni, because that's when he was actually trying to connect. And it reminds him of how him and Ribbit used to be. In the stargazing scene, when he notices his bunny tail is missing, there's a bunny cloud with its tail coming off, and there's also a bow tie cloud next to it. This could mean that he lost his tail when Ribbit abstracted. Thought. Maybe Abel was made with information from part of Kinger's brain, because Caine has access to all of their brains, right? There's also a theory that Kinger might have slightly abstracted when Queenie abstracted, or went through the same thing as Jax did. So now Caine has more information about their brain. So he managed to get into Kinger's brain and get more information about the circus. So maybe he got information from Kinger's brain and made Abel, but maybe Caine made this NPC a while ago because he's been cooking it up for a good long while, but maybe he lost track of the NPC. If I lose track of who's human and who's NPC, who knows what could happen? Maybe he's talking about Abel. Maybe Abel had more time to run in the background, because there's the part where Caine is like, Did you hear that, Bubble? The Toy Box character wants us to run the AIs for a prolonged amount of time. Disgusting! Basically, he knows that if you run the NPCs for too long, they are AIs, so they'll probably gain a little bit of sentience and consciousness. And this is shown with Gummy Goo, who learned about his very existence. Gained some sentience. But with Abel, maybe he was aware generally of the nature of the circus and also the nature of Caine. So maybe he was trying to play into a part with Caine, but was being more serious in the Chinese room because he knew that Caine wouldn't look inside because he said he has a theory that Caine will commit to a bit, aka not know what's in the Chinese room. Jack's partly abstracted, so maybe Caine has more access to his mind, so I think that that's probably what allowed Caine to show Jax these memories. That's how he got to him, you know. I think he was definitely using it to make Jax choose the option to stay inside the circus. I'm just saying. Thought. Caine is an AI, we all know this. Caine is an AI, but he has the ability to gain knowledge. And like my farm idea of farming human consciousness, every time a character abstracts, like with Kaufmo, he can improve the circus. Now we have a 57 times more immersive NPC! And he also might start feeling how the abstracted people felt, which is why he kind of gets a little bit more self-conscious and also a bit more spastic and a little bit more wanting to please the humans in a way. I think he just learns more about the human experience and starts perceiving the things around him more closely, more intently, takes things more personally kind of thing. So with this, I have a feeling Jax is probably going to abstract. I know we don't want that to happen, but it's very likely. But maybe Pomni won't let it happen, but who knows. I think Jax is going to abstract, and then Caine is going to start feeling how Jax felt. I then think Pomni is going to lead an expedition to finally figure out how to bring back abstractions, and then somehow reverse them. So I think maybe if Jax gets put into the basement, she's gonna follow after them and go into the basement and then maybe have a coherent discussion with the abstracted characters because they're calmer in the dark. Or maybe she has to kill Caine because Caine is kind of like the amalgamation of all of their consciousnesses. But Caine might end up being more hostile with Jax's consciousness. Hostile and intense. So yeah, if she manages to reverse the abstractions somehow and Caine maybe is gone, then maybe all of the abstracted characters come back and maybe they can't leave, but they have all of these other characters and they build sort of like a society for themselves within the circus. And then obviously when we have all of these other characters, there's going to be information that will come out. Like with Queenie, that would be a whole thing. I think she has a lot more to do with the circus than we think. Maybe she's the queen bee, which is why Caine likes bees. He's just a worker bee. Or a drone. Murder drones. Bees. Bro. Drones. Bees. Is anyone listening? Thought. So there is a theory that Bubble represents the Bubble Boy virus, and I don't know a lot about it, but it's a virus, so it probably affects the circus. And Caine is always saying, "You parasite!" and is just generally like annoyed by Bubble's existence, so I don't think he's meant to be there. When he speaks backwards and you reverse it, he says, "I can't wait for the kids to have nightmares from the monsters." Bro's deranged. Bro probably put the monsters in there. Bro probably is influencing Caine and his decisions and probably wants the characters to abstract or something like that. Maybe he's the bug that Queenie and Kinger are so fascinated by. Bugs, computer bugs, viruses, parasites. What if Bubble is the bug, but under control for now? Maybe he has control over the adventures somehow, which is why Caine can't learn how to be better. Because the Amazing Digital Circus was supposed to be family friendly. That's what it was made for. Why are we not talking about how there's haunted houses as part of the adventures? I don't know. Just like all of the crazy ideas he has. Maybe that's just what they wanted Caine to think, but the whole thing is just psychological torture on purpose. Thought. Maybe Caine got Kaufmo's mental information. That's why Gummy Goo is more immersive. Maybe they think similarly. But that's why Caine tries to make more jokes now, because of Kaufmo's consciousness. But with the Chinese door, which illustrates the lack of direct understanding that AIs have with humans, translation error, this must have come from Kaufmo, likely because he tells jokes, and this is a new development from Caine due to Kaufmo's recent abstraction. It could indicate Kaufmo might be one of the programmers of the Digital Circus, as apparently it's used in coding with understanding AIs. But thought Caine's incredible world-building skills, they have to come from somewhere. It doesn't just come from nowhere. Are we forgetting that Caine is an AI? He can't make things up for himself because he made Able, right? But where did that come from? Every adventure that he's done before has been related to each of the characters individually in their subconscious, making sure that they feel the most affected as possible. Like the haunted castle. How's your wife, Kinger? The trapped souls? The abstracted characters? But yeah, the Chinese door could have been a mixture or one or the other of Ribbit, Scratch, Kaufmo, or Queenie. They are the most likely people who know the most about the circus. In the inside of the Chinese room, Able is able to just tell them what's going on in the circus, and it can't be fake. It can't be fake because it came from somewhere. Kinger, which is why they didn't want Kinger involved, because he might have foiled plans. But maybe Caine is smart enough to change some of the information to not allow the characters to actually leave. But Able is not completely fake, and he's been watching them for a while, so he's probably sentient. He probably has some kind of conscious, able to make decisions for himself, to guide them. Thought. Kaufmo was probably an artist, because did you see the drawings in his room? Also him in multiple different frames, in different styles of artworks. He probably had some kind of weird personality thing where he kept changing the way he was seeing himself, and it was very, very disproportionate to reality. Distorted, just like wrong. It's crazy because one of them looks like, you know, those styles of artwork where the real eyes, the realistic eyes in the creepy, weird, like portrait looks real. Looks like there's a soul trapped in them. That's why they made, or he made an artwork that represents a soul trapped inside something fictional. Probably why Gangle and Kaufmo were friends, because they're both artists. He probably thought similarly to Gangle, and for whatever reason, this similarity is triggering for Jax because Kaufmo's gone. Maybe he just sees Kaufmo whenever he looks at her, so he bullies her for it. And like, maybe Gangle is a born entertainer because she like wants to make a webcomic. She wants to entertain people. Kaufmo wants to entertain people because he's a clown, he's always making jokes. Maybe they're both entertainers at heart, but maybe they just have self-esteem issues. Kaufmo might be the opposite of Gangle because he might use humor to cope, maybe like Jax. And maybe it's not actually who he is, and he takes things a lot more seriously, thinks about things a lot more seriously, but he puts himself in the shoes of someone who's ridiculous and shouldn't be taken seriously, which is why Jax is like, "You're a cartoon clown, how can I take you seriously?" to Pomni, which is interesting because Jax also uses humor and doesn't exactly want to be taken seriously. He doesn't want to be looked at any deeper than the surface. He uses it as a way to push people away. Maybe Kaufmo did it in a way where he wasn't trying to push people away, but he just was scared of vulnerability and also didn't really want people to know how smart he was to have some kind of way of being above people or knowing things other people don't. Anyway, oh my god. This was a long one, I think. And I'm still experimenting with the styles of my videos, so I hope you liked this video. I hope I'll get it out before episode 8 comes out. It probably will debunk a lot of my thoughts, but make sure to like, comment, subscribe, share the video if you liked it, comment what else you would like me to talk about, or comment your thoughts on my thoughts, your thoughts on my thoughts, so that we can have a conversation. I will not tolerate negativity or direct hateful behavior. I'll block you, I'll delete your comment, but I invite constructive criticism. These are all sort of loose thoughts, nothing really too thought out, but I do think a lot, so I decided to dump it all on a video. But I hope you guys liked it, and yeah, let me know what else you would like me to make a video on. I'm an artist, I'm a designer, I'm a musician, so if you maybe want me to do covers, song covers, piano, ukulele singing, that's what I do. If you want me to do graphic design videos, like designing t-shirts, because I have a website, a merch website, loonlightdesigns/etsy/store.com, where you can see shirts, jumpers, caps, beanies, tote bags, mugs, anything with designs that I've made. But yeah, also if you want me to do speed draws again like the one I did in my last video, or perchance you want me to do a painting video or a tutorial, or maybe I can do a outfit challenge because I like dressing up. Let me show you my outfit. I feel like Ragatha. I feel like emo Ragatha. Also, there's my cat. On my TikTok, which is Lunarsolar_NZ, I've done a few cosplays. I've done a Jax cosplay, who is abstracting in my cosplay, and I might do Pomni, I might do Ragatha. I've done impressions. I also like to dance, so maybe if you want me to do a dancing video, but subscribe please and thank you. I'm new, but I would like your support. Yeah, that's that, but hope you have a good day, hope you drink some water, hope you eat, hope you move around because it's good for you. Do something for you, do something that will make you happy, regulate yourself, remember to, you know, take calm breaths, untense your shoulders and your jaw, make sure you are not overstimulating yourself, make sure you're comfortable, take some time for yourself. If you're in an overwhelming environment, please take care. But I'll be seeing you in my next video, which will probably be a cosplay, a Varang cosplay from Avatar, so be sure to check that one out. Anyway, see you next time. Bye!